Good morning, everybody. So over the weekend, there was 17 families that had been affected by carbon monoxide at a hotel in Marysville. And anytime you turn on the news or you hear about things like this, it really does disturb you, especially in the heating or cooling world, because you think about all the jobs that you've been to that day and all the technicians that have been to every single job, and you think about this is one of the major things we are concerned about, one of the major things that we worry about. It's like anybody with any occupation, your mechanic wants to double check your brakes to make sure your brakes don't fail, your doctor wants to double check your health to make sure your health is sustainable. All of these things that we want to make sure that we're safe and doing what we're supposed to do. Anything from gas leaks or improper installation of electricity, or a furnace producing carbon monoxide due to age and a bad heat exchanger. It's definitely a heavy heart today for those family that's going through this, and I guess there's a baby that's in critical condition. And you think about those things, you think about your family just simply going to a hotel or go swimming or whatever the case may be, and a good time goes bad real fast. And the one thing that I want to stress today is to make sure you're checking your carbon monoxide levels, make sure you're checking your carbon monoxide detector, make sure you check your furnace for safety. It's just not worth it. It's really just not worth it. It's not worth taking and rolling the dice. If you got cracks in your heat exchanger, that's like saying, hey, no big deal. I got cracks in my heat exchanger. We'll survive. Don't roll the dice. It ain't worth the risk. Why? For what? For what reason? We get this body one time. That's all we get. One time around on here on earth, and if we're not careful, we're not safe, we're not doing our jobs, that's where things can get really, really critical really, really fast. So just remember, make sure you check in your furnaces for safety. Make sure that your carbon monoxide batteries are on and doing what they're supposed to do. And I don't know if you know this or not, but most carbon monoxide detectors at stores only run up to, don't kick on to about 75 parts per million. So if those things go off, they're meant to get out of the house, not to play around, not to mess around, get out of the house. They're not designed for, oh, well, that's not too bad. That's a low measurement. It only went off once. That's not how it works. As it gets colder outside, furnaces begin to produce more often. Why? Think about a paper clip. A paper clip will bend and bend and bend and bend, and over a period of time, eventually that paper clip will break, okay? A furnace heat exchanger is a paper clip. Heat expansion, cold contraction. Heat expansion, cold contraction. And you do this over a 20-year period, that furnace heat exchanger, that metal will break. And when that metal breaks, that's when it produces carbon monoxide. So when is that most likely going to happen? That's going to happen on the coldest day of the year, because that's when the furnace is running more. So it's expanding, contracting, just constantly. And eventually that crack opens up, the furnace is running a whole lot more, increases the potential, the crack gets a little larger, expands a little bit more, and the next thing you know, you got an entire group of people that's in the hospital. We see it every year. Things that don't even make the news. I remember personally rolling up on a house that had ambulances everywhere, and it was scary. It was truly scary. You think about your own family at that moment in time, and to whom the bell tolls. You know what I'm saying? So with that said, go in there and find out that, furnace had cracks in the heat exchanger, it was unsafe. Those things are not anything to play games with. When you have gas, fire, and electricity, be safe. Use the professionals. Use guys that are licensed, bonded, and insured. Use guys that have been licensed by the state. Don't use, Bob out of the back of his truck, with the tail light special. Don't do that stuff. It is not worth it. So we have to abide by rules and guidelines to make us, all accountable to how we do our jobs. So make sure you're using the licensed, bonded, and insured companies. Make sure you're using companies that double check your carbon monoxide levels as well as your heat exchangers. So guys, with that said, let's be safe out there, okay? Let's not, in these cold temperatures, don't play no games. Let the professionals handle it. And thank you so much. Be safe. Bill with Right Wake Eating and Calling.